That's very good. That's noble. So I think most of us here, we don't have any experience of volunteering. That should be something we should take up as potential leaders. Then we should do internships, paid and unpaid. Look at the website of all the major international organizations. There's always demands for internships. The program I run at GIMPA, we are now going to make it a requirement that by the time you finish the program, you should have done internship. If you don't do that, you can't pass the program. Because you don't learn international relations and diplomacy in the classroom. You need to go out there to interact and to pick new skills that will be useful in the future. Thank you.
I think both deserves another round of applause. Just one last question before I move to Ms. Diane, and then we'll come to you for your questions. I'm just going to hit on the internship bit. I have met a lot of young people who always desire to do internships, but again, they have this preconceived mindset that you have to pay me. And so once they realize that it is an unpaid internship, their interest reduces. And I've also met a lot of the young people who have gotten big opportunities because of certain internships that they did. As young leaders coming up, how do we blend our daily life schedules, our schools, whatever we're involved in, and taking on additional responsibilities that is supposed to build us, and how can we properly present these experiences that we have to be able to attract bigger ones?
Okay, so that's a very good question. I mean, let's be real. I mean, you need some money to go around, to go to work, to do internship. So just like do national service where we say they are not actually paying you for what you are doing, but they get you something that can get you around. If you are doing internship that is not paid, it can be very challenging depending on where you live in this Accra. So that's a real challenge. So I think that we need to find a way to literally force our government to create spaces for internship. There are a lot of people who want to do internship even in foreign affairs. Even getting accepted to the internship there, it's like it's not going to happen. If you know, a lot of people on my international relations program cannot get foreign affairs to do internship. Even on pay, they will not get. You need to know somebody, or somebody needs to know you. These are some of the things that I think as a country, the young people, you see, we always have opportunities as young people. When elections are approaching, you see all the major parties talking about young people. That is when you have to put your issues, force them to put them on their manifestos. What are you doing for young people? Young people want internships. Because if at the end of the day, you don't have any experience, then some jobs are advertised. They will say 2 years experience. Is it my grandfather's home you are going to get that experience? Who is going to get that experience for you? If you understand. So you have to be part and parcel of the way we run this country. You see, when you go outside this country, are you in a different planet? Because things are done so seamlessly. Doing internship. I mean, companies actually come to campus. When you go to UK, some of the major universities, companies come to recruit you for internship. They have a lot of youth entry-level positions. They don't require any experience. So by the time you finish your program, you are ready for the job market because you use the period you are studying to do internships. If it is not properly organized, then you are on your own. And not all of us are lucky that somebody knows us or we know somebody. So I think that's the real challenge. But beyond that, I think we as young people should be less materialistic about some of these things. A lot of young people want to be paid for everything. And that's why people don't go for internships that are not paid. And I'm telling you that people have got jobs, big jobs, because of internships. Because when you intern in a place, you already have experience about what they do in that environment. So when there's an opening, you get to apply. Or once you are doing internship, there's internal adverts. Other people may not know about it, but because you are there, somebody knows you. Your boss may even say, apply for this, and I will recommend, I will put the reference for you. So let us try to, yes, we need money, everybody does, but money is not everything all the time. Sometimes we need to make certain sacrifices, just do unpaid internship. as a gateway to get to the organization. So that's what I'll say about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Ms. Dana has a perspective to add before asking questions.
I'd like to share a perspective on this. I have a different idea, and I think I want to share it, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. So the way I see it is, if you are pursuing education, right? You apply to the institution, they'll tell you how much the course is going to cost, and you, because you need that education, are going to find the money to do the course. If you have to go and beg, scrape, borrow, not steal, and try and get that money, you will. Because you have recognized that there's value in that program you want to undertake, there's value in having the degree, there's value in having that qualification, so you will find the money. I believe where we are currently, you really need to be more aggressive and you need to be bold. And so if you are looking for an opportunity to work in an organization, you actually need that for your CV. You need that to demonstrate that you have done something in the field. You've had some hands-on experience at something. Why don't you find money to actually pay yourself to do the internship? Because I see that as a way of investing in yourself. If you walk up to an organization and say, listen, I'm offering myself up as an intern, even if it's for 2 weeks, even if it's for 1 month, you're going to calculate that, okay, I'm going to spend X amount on my transport and lunch in a day, because this means something to me. I want the experience of working in your organization or in your field. You think people will turn down free labor? I certainly won't. You know, if you appear and say, I'm a student studying X, economics, public relations, whatever it is, and I feel I can bring this to your organization, but at the same time, I want to learn. I want the opportunity to learn. I want hands-on experience. I want you to mentor me. I would consider that a very bold step. As somebody who is intentional, as somebody who is prepared, as somebody who really wants something. So if you're going to sit back and wait for a paid internship or wait for an organization to advertise it on their website, you may not get that opportunity. Relationships, this is what I would like to do. Give me a try. I'll do this for a week. What do they have to lose? But you have taken the time to invest in yourself, because this is something that is important to you. Yeah, so that's just what I wanted to share.
I was actually going to ask you. I was actually going to ask you, where do we start from as young people, considering your field of work and the opportunities that are available to us? How do you think that young people can actually position themselves to take advantage of opportunities abroad and on the other continents to be able to get where they aspire to be? For instance, the AFS Youth Assembly, there are equally other platforms all over the world. How would young people be able to have such opportunities, and where do they start from?
Thank you. So I think it's also related to doing research, finding out what the opportunities are, being focused, and also being intentional. You have to be able to be an instrument of change or impact. You need to be doing something that is way above what everyone else is doing. Don't follow the crowd. Stand on your own. And also be interested in what is happening in the world. I am so saddened these days when I speak to young people and they are completely clueless about international issues and what is happening in the world. And the focus is very, very micro. It's not even about what is happening in Ghana. It's literally what is happening on their Instagram feed. That is as far as the information is for a lot of people, and it's sad. So I would encourage young people that, or encourage you here that are here today, that be curious, be intentional about seeking information and understanding what is happening in the world around you. There are so many opportunities that can be found if you look for them. But if you sit back and you wait for somebody to share the opportunities with you, you won't be able to access them. So I would really encourage you all to be curious, to be bold, to be aggressive, to come up with ideas. And going back to the point about youth leadership and young people having a voice in the area of governance, it also stems from the fact that if the people in the leadership towers actually recognize young people doing something impactful, young people having an impact in the community and actually having a voice, I think they will come out to support. I always use the example of the bus stop boys. How many people have heard of bus stop boys? Okay, so this is a group of men who came together and decided it's a global movement. I sat down with these gentlemen and I said, where do you see what you're doing in the next 5 years? And then they were giggling and scratching their heads. But for me, I was looking at what they're doing like, what you are doing is a mindset revolution. Because sanitation and issues of sanitation in our country are not about we don't have enough garbage holders or we don't have enough trucks. No, it's a mindset. It is how we think about sanitation, how we think about refuse collection, how we think about our environment around us. One issue that we are currently grappling with at AFS. So what we do is we host international students and volunteers. They come to Ghana, they go to high school, they work in projects for about 1 year. And in that experience, they learn about the culture, the people, they live amongst the people in the communities, they go to church, they go to mosque, they learn Chi and Ga, and they get to know about our country. And in a sense, they become diplomats as well. They become almost ambassadors from their country because there's an opportunity for them to share their culture as well. In the past, I would say 3 years, especially since there was an introduction of free education and our schools became a lot more populated with students. I think it's had a huge impact on the facilities, and you hear my international students talking about the toilet facilities in our public schools. And I know for those of you that attended public school in Ghana, you know what I'm talking about. And for a student to tell you that they have to hold whatever it is they need to do in a washroom until they get home, what would your response be to that? And for me, I sat down with my team and I said, you know, this issue is much bigger than us. It's about the students in the school. Is anybody talking about this? Is anybody concerned about this matter? Let alone the leaders in the school or the heads of the institutions. And so what we are going to do as part of our school clubs is we're going to start a campaign that is going to look at some of these issues and help to address some of these issues. Because not only is it about the access of facilities, I think it's also about the mindset. It's about how we want to live. And it starts somewhere. It starts from home, it starts from school. We take it with us wherever we go. So in that same regard, I really feel like there is an opportunity for young people to make that impact, to be an instrument of change wherever you find yourself. But you can't sit back and wait for it to happen. I'm sorry, I spoke a bit.
possibly the last round of questions, and we'll wrap it up so we don't keep you here for so long. So if you have a question, please put your hands up. Okay, I can see one hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Ali is confused. Please keep your hands up. Oh, I love one at the back. I love this. I love this so much. Okay, who are we taking first? Yeah, we'll take it first. And then you come here.
That's my former student.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so my name is Fafa, and one of our speakers mentioned about, he said the opportunity to talk must never die off. And this month, 15th September, was National Democracy Day. And looking at current dispensation where free speech is no more free speech. Looking at America is the hub for democracy. But looking at what is going on right now, there's nothing like that. Even their First Amendment is not even guiding them. Coming back to my country, Ghana, where free protest has been taken by violence. They're arresting people because they are protesting. Social media comments and posts become something else, and people are non-violent posts and comments. People are arrested and detained because of the comments they have made on social media. So it boils down. Are we really experiencing free speech now because of all these things that are happening? Now, we, the youth, if we need to advocate, broadcast, and say anything, we have to do it through social media, because that is where the platform, you can get the audience, and then someone somewhere else can see and connect or anything of that sort. But then you don't know what to write about, what to comment about, because when you comment about the government administration, it becomes a problem. When you are criticizing them, it becomes a problem. So at this moment, if we are saying the opportunity to talk must never die off, at what point do we say we have the opportunity to speak? Fun fact, I'm a past student of the International Relations and Diplomacy of Prof's institution, and I'm also a member of his network. So if you need any information, you can come and ask me.
Thank you so much. That, I believe, was to Mr. Megdad.
Yeah.
And so we will take the second question. Just a moment. We'll take the second question and then we'll respond. We'll take 2 more. We'll respond. Please, you may go ahead.
Thank you very much. Commomwealth from the Rotary. So I've been contemplating on something that has been coming up within the youth. When it comes to some youth that are very craving for opportunities, when it comes to their connections with powerful figures they have connections with. And in that case, they often prioritize their relationship over the assets they have. Instead of calling for injustice or calling out injustice, because of the privileges and the opportunities they have with powerful figures, they cannot do that because of the influence they have. So how does we young people manage relationship with people we have connections with, and also focusing on advocacy and calling out injustice? My second question goes by applying for, nowadays it looks like the internships are really competitive when it comes to applying to these international relation organizations. So how do we navigate around this? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Your first question is actually, yes, I'll come to you. We'll take the responses and then I'll come to you next. Your first question is a situation that I've been thinking about for a long time. So I'd like to hear what
Let me pick the first
that
question.
You see, if you look into your countries you come from, let's say you are from Nigeria, there's someone they will mention that, oh, we want to make this person president of Nigeria. You will not agree. Do you know why? Because you assess the person to be unqualified to represent you. how do you assess him? Perhaps by his manner of speech, by his qualifications and experience and exposure. In a similar way, when we say that there must not be a point where the opportunity to engage should not exist, it means that the emphasis is on responsible speech. We all know that there are limits to speech. Incendiary language that incites violence like it happened in Rwanda and other places must not be entertained. When we say that you are a diplomat, it means you can disagree with someone without using insulting language. It means you can make your point forcefully without having to bang a table. That is diplomacy. So my point on engagement is in this context. Yes, they are irresponsible speech. It doesn't mean that democracy is not at stake. If someone makes a speech, as in Rwanda, I'm sure, my apologies to anybody who comes from Rwanda here, who may be reminded about the dark past that we have buried. I'm just using it in context. That when the presenter was on radio, calling out a particular group of people in that country, if he had been arrested then, maybe there would have been some concerns that free speech was being impeded. But by hindsight, countries have picked lessons and put in their laws language that should not be repeated on radio for even children to hear and go to school and repeat it to their mates in their classrooms. So when we talk about engagements, that is in context. You must never, as a diplomat, get to a point where you will have to use insulting language to make a point because you want to emphasize the forcefulness of the point. The English language and whatever language we have across the world is so bottomless in vocabulary that no matter how deeply we feel about something, there will be verifiably respectful ways of putting them across without inciting violence, without being insulting or demeaning or saying it in a language that divides a whole nation or a whole community or a whole tribe. That will be in context. Then briefly, I wanted to make a point on the internship and those volunteerism. You know, I recommended someone from Ashesi for an employment because I was recruiting an assistant and it was a part-time job. When I floated the advert on LinkedIn, a lot of applicants, about 700 of them. And we sat down, my colleagues in the office and the HR looked through because they needed my opinion, obviously, in who they would shortlist. So I was asking them, I don't want an adult, overly someone very old. I wanted someone I'm older than, someone who is still in school or in the final year, about to start service and stuff. And this Ashesi guy, he's now in the US, University of Chicago, doing his master's. His CV stood out for me because he was doing some volunteer project in Brekusu community. He says a lot of ladies or young girls in the community were getting pregnant and falling out of school. And he and his colleagues form this club of a sort that every Friday they will go and do story time, and weave stories that motivate the girls to stay in school, that show them that those boys who come and impregnate you, they will continue school, you are still here and all. And surprisingly, I actually shortlisted him to interview him to hear more. Yes, I put him aside with one PhD candidate from University of Ghana, but I added him. He had he's a MasterCard Foundation scholar and all, but he didn't have any experience. It is just internship at CBG for 2 months, and then that Brekusu thing. That I wanted to hear more. How did you do this? What was the outcome? And he impressed my ambassador. So the point on internship matters a lot. It really matters. Sometimes we want to know, have you done something without the promise of a reward of money? Because obviously, volunteering in Brekusu, you are not paid for it. He's called Knowledge Ahadiche. He's on LinkedIn. He's very, very brilliant. So when we talk about internship, it's not just about the money. You can volunteer, and also it shows which course you identify with. For example, before I left university, I volunteered with United Way Ghana. And we used to go to the Nima community to paint the schools. Interestingly, some of those people who were sponsoring those school paintings and the Makaranta things were the UAE donors. I didn't know. Yes. So you go for an interview and they're asking you, United Way Ghana, when and when did you volunteer? Which areas? Oh, okay. You know we're both this school? It's a coincidence. Then the final point I will make is that these days, a lot of the multinationals and international organizations, whether business and international cooperation, they are creating these training programs, graduate training programs. I've helped people write their CVs to meet it, guided them, okay, this experience, place it here, this is your essay, no, do this way, for them to apply. Those are entry points that gives you a foot in the door in those places. For the World Bank, for example, they are even so magnanimous that if you apply and you are so good that others are better than you, they can put you in their wait list for the next opportunity. They call it roster. I don't know whether you are aware of those opportunities. Other multinationals like Shell, Total, Energies, and Uber, Stanchart, Goldman, they have these opportunities. And then the final point to top it up, to make you prepared for this. These days and times, people are looking for specializations. What can you do aside your degree? What is special? If you go to the Foreign Affairs right now, there are about 16 bureaus, because I deal with most of them separate. So I know, based on my experience, there's the Economic Bureau, there's the Protocol Bureau, there's the Logistic Bureau, there's the Estates Bureau, there is a lot of them. And if you look at the people who are staffed there, they're not people who may necessarily have the international relations background that you are fighting for. Some of them have a chartered logistics something, and they are there running the logistics of the Ghana government in the Foreign Affairs. Some have something certified estates this. They are helping the embassy in renting properties across the world for diplomats who are traveling. Some are protocol. They have experience in this. They are booking tickets for diplomats who are traveling from one event to the other. Some are PMP certified. If the embassy is holding a heads of state summit or an ECOWAS summit in Accra, they are instrumental in those things. Those are the things that will give you a foot at the door. So if you intend to rise and you try, you're not getting the place, if there's an opportunity for, let's say, a project and programs manager or an officer, but you are rather looking for a role in protocol, you could use your experience in that to enter and work your way into the space you want to be. I didn't start at the embassy as an economic advisor. Hear from me. This I'll try and be brief as possible. I joined the embassy as a general analyst, but there was a business transaction and my advice was perfect because it was ignored and what I said happened. There was a political risk involved in the business. I said, no, if you do this without going through this process and going through this other process, you have a problem. And it was an email, not oral. Then it was ignored. They proceeded, then what I said happened exactly. I came, then this economics you are looking for, you could do the work. That is, I did social information studies at Legon. Information studies, first degree, with some experience in Aluta. And then some hope. And so that's how I went to get my master's in economics and did my PMP based on the portfolios of my expanded responsibilities. So the point I'm making ultimately is that you can earn your place in there by specialization. You should be too good to be ignored. And when you enter, you earn your right on the tables you want to be. I wish you all the best on this.
Thank you so much. Yes, I know a lot of you have questions. We are going to really take all the questions. Don't worry. And so we'll keep our responses also crisp that you can. Yes, I'll come back to you. Prof, he asked a question that has got me thinking. He said, how do we manage relationships with people we are close to and still criticize them? And I want to link it to politics and leadership because usually when young people find themselves under politicians or even at work, and your boss is somebody you are definitely below, we have this loyalty mindset and attributes, especially as Ghanaians, that if the person does something wrong and you comment about it, you are disloyal. But outside, it's not like that. You have a young person who is very much below you, look at you and tell you, I think this idea is stupid. And the person is loyal to you, and it's not an insult, but that's genuinely what they think. In our setting, and as aspiring diplomats, how do we manage our relationship with people and still criticize them when they are wrong and be withstanding with them?
Well, criticism has to be constructive. You can't just get up and criticize him for the sake of it. But I think it's also cultural. See, I teach at Lancaster University, Ghana. I teach on the international relations, an undergrad program. When I joined them, the first thing I observed is the difference between what they do and the public universities. So at Lancaster, because they are doing the British educational system, their mindset of the students are like British. So we went for staff meeting. The class reps are in the meeting, staff meeting. Then they say, what do you have to say? They say, you, this lecturer, you know what? You are very good, but you are always all over the place. You don't finish one sentence. We don't like that, so please, if you can do something about that. Okay. It took me some time to relate to that. Then they told me that yes, in Lancaster, they want the lecturer to get the feedback there and then. And the students do it without apologizing. You understand? And I got used to that. So I know that in the next staff meeting, the students are going to give it to me if they want to give it to me, and I'll take it in good faith. So I think we need to, it's part and parcel of our culture. People feel that young people should not criticize them. Who are you to tell me this or that? So we need to work around that. That is why the way you go about it matters. You see, in America, if they say don't be stupid, it's not an insult. Yeah. So don't be silly. Or they say nonsense. So my students, they know I say nonsense a lot. Stop that nonsense. I'm not insulting you, I'm just advising you to stop what you are doing. So I think that we need to navigate the cultural dynamics where we find ourselves. You see, in certain places, so I give an example, in certain cultures, a young person doesn't ask an old person, how are you? Yes, if you come to my hometown, you can't see another and be asking him, how are you? Have you paid school fees before you ask that question? Don't do that. Thank you.
Wow, please don't do that. But yes, we are going to take the next round of questions. I'll take her, I'll take you, and I'll come to you. Oh, wow, how many are we?